Hi everyone, it is Kate Azukas here and welcome to my spiritual booster for today. So the topic that I want to talk to you today about is mindfulness and how you can incorporate more mindfulness into your daily life. So I've been working in the corporate environment in many different roles for about the last 15 years, and I've been teaching yoga and meditation and well-being since 2012, so coming up to 10 years now, which is a very long time. And I'm very passionate about the area of mindfulness. I've seen the benefits of it. I know when I was starting to do my yoga journey and starting to do my yoga teaching, that I was always kind of just so drawn into just the impact that it had on me at the time, and that the impact that it was able to take me from being quite stressed and quite anxious into quite a still and safe space. So for me, mindfulness has had many, many different benefits. So I do want to take you through a short practice today. So I think there's nothing like learning about mindfulness by actually doing a practice. And this is a practice that you can do anytime, anywhere, and that can help you through the day. You're about to go into a meeting, or if you're feeling a little bit anxious or a little bit stressed, just a bit of an activity that can just bring you back to yourself, focus on your breathing, and then hopefully just balance you out a little bit more so you can get on with your day. So after the practice, I do want to also then talk to you a little bit more about mindfulness and the benefits that it has had. So we'll start with the practice now. So gently just come into a just regular breathing pattern. Just start to focus on your breath and just start to get conscious of your breath. And you can do this sitting or standing. And then just observing your breath. Just to inhale and you exhale. You can close your eyes if you want. You can downcast your eyes just by looking down, or you can keep them open, completely up to you. And just gently start to deepen your breath and just really drawing your inhale as you're just inhaling your breath right down to your belly, and then exhaling, just exhaling completely. And then again, just inhaling, just feeling your belly expand as you're inhaling, and then exhaling. And then just observing any thoughts in your mind, just letting them pass, observing them, just trying not to get caught up in them. If your mind's bouncing around, that's okay. And just focusing on your breath. And then gently starting to add a count to your breath. So inhale for 4, and then exhaling for 4. Inhaling for 4 counts and exhaling for 4 counts. And just focus on the counting of your breath. And then once you've done this a couple of times, just let go of the counting and just come back to your regular breath and just observe how your breath is feeling. Just observe how your mind is feeling, how your body is feeling, and just using that observation rather than attachment of your breath. And then starting to just observe all the sounds around you and outside. And then when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes and then get back to your day. So that is a very, very quick mindful activity that you can do using your breath as your tool to help bring you back to center and to help bring you into the moment. Just observing what's going through your mind, observing what's going through in your outside world, so that you can just bring yourself back to yourself and just be more present with what's going on and centered. So I find that a really good activity to do if you can feel your stress levels going up, and something that can bring you back down. So great to do in the evenings as well as any time throughout the day. So I do want to talk to you about mindfulness in itself. So there is a really good Eckhart Tolle quote that I talk to when I talk about mindfulness. And the one thing I really like about this is I'm very visual, and it's a really good visualization and looking at mindfulness as yourself. So imagine you are a lake, and the surface of the lake will change according to the conditions, according to the weather, the wind, etc. So that is the top bit of the lake that we see. But the depth of the lake and what remains underneath the lake is always still. So when it's undisturbed. And so us, as individuals, make up both the waves on top of the lake as well as that depth that sits within the lake. And when you are mindful, you are accessing that depth that is within you as well. So, and obviously that is what anchors you and what keeps you still and what keeps you stabilized. So when I talk about mindfulness, I always like to talk about that analogy, because I think sometimes we forget that we are the whole lake and we just kind of react to what's going on around us. We respond with our ego rather than being present and being focused and being still and then being able to draw on that as we go about our daily lives. So that is, I think, one of the best analogies I have for mindfulness that I really like to use and the benefits of it. So for me, I've spoken about this, a lot, and I do talk about how important yoga, mindfulness, and meditation are in physical well-being, as well as your mental and emotional well-being and spiritual well-being as well. I find it is just such a practice that for someone like me who does work in very corporate roles, I'm mentally draining roles, and I'm constantly focusing on kind of what's going on in my head. I do find that I need to be mindful and I need to be conscious of and aware so that I can ground myself and center myself and ensure that I am at my own physical performance as well as mental and emotional performance. So mindfulness for me has really impacted my own personal stress levels. So I do find that I'm able to be a lot more resilient through not getting too attached to the outcome. So just being a little bit more, taking a step back and observing rather than absorbing. And I know it's a bit of a mantra that I do use when I do talk about mindfulness, but when I also talk to my teams as well, that I do talk about, making sure you're observing and trying to stay in that observation mode rather than absorbing too much, because when you start to absorb, that's when you get really stressed. That's when you do feel the attachment to the outcome, and you do feel all of those energies that you're constantly interacting with every day attached to you. So you do need to clear that out, and being mindful and present is a great way of making sure that you're able to build that resilience and stamina that you need to make sure that you're constantly focused and clear-headed as you're going about your day as well. So there are many, many, many benefits, and I've got a list here of benefits that I talk to. So some of it is touched on as well. So relieves stress and anxiety. So I mentioned that before. Improves productivity. It's great for memory as well, because you're clear. You've got this clear mind and you're present. You're not constantly distracted by that noise that's going on. And as individuals, we are constantly thrown noise from everywhere. So for us to be able to just kind of sift through that noise and to be able to just remain stable and focused is an amazing trait to have, and it's something that really does make sure that you are clear-minded and focused and able to achieve what you want to achieve. So improves balance and calmness. So I mentioned before that, you know, I'm in working jobs that are quite mentally draining, constantly thinking all the time. So I do find that my practices for mindfulness and meditation and yoga really ground me and really balance me out as well. Gets me out of my head and into my body. So that's, for me, is where I've seen one of the biggest benefits for someone that, you know, has got a predominantly corporate career, to be able to move into this pathway and be able to balance myself. And having that balance has really been kind of the key to fulfillment for me as well, and being able to achieve what I want to achieve in life and to be unapologetic about it as well. So a few of the other pieces that are very practical that I was spoken to, it improves your breathing. So we just did a breathing exercise. So you need to breathe. We don't breathe enough, you know, while we breathe into our chest, and we need to breathe to stay alive. We don't access like the bottom and the depth of that lake, which is our breath, that can really help us to access that depth. So make sure you use your breath. Make sure you take the time every day to spend a few minutes just breathing right into the depth of your belly and accessing that, because your body, your mind, your emotional well-being will all thank you for it. And one of the other big points that I do want to raise, especially around mindfulness, is that it improves sleep. So I know a lot of our modern lives are so busy. By the time we get to bed, our mind is still ticking over. We're still processing things that we're going through the day in our minds. We're also rethinking about situations that happened during the day and how we should have done them better. You know, we judge ourselves constantly. The one thing that mindfulness has really taught me is to be non-judgmental, to be, you know, to observe, you know, try not to judge yourself and judge others. And that's where I've found being that non-attachment has really, really, really benefited my own well-being. So that goes through a few of the benefits that I did want to talk to you about in this session today. So there are many there. So make sure you do incorporate a mindful activity into your day. Obviously, if you're watching this, you are curious about mindfulness. And I am doing this video because I do want to say, like, you don't have to be a yogi, you know, you don't have to be someone that meditates on the top of a mountain to be able to do this. You can do this on public transport going to work. You can do this before you go to sleep at night. You can do this when you get up in the morning. I've got 2 kids as well. So, you know, I want to make sure that I incorporate mindfulness and yoga and meditation and all that into the day, and how I can do that juggling work and kids as well. So that's one of the main reasons why I'm sharing my story and sharing how I, you know, kind of practice yoga, and how I do a lot more snippets of it as well, and a lot more of it why I do these kind of videos. But you know, you don't have to be, you know, some type of Instagram star either to be able to do all of this type of stuff. It is accessible to all of us all of the time. So here's some tips I have to invite some more mindfulness into your life. So make sure that you are grounding yourself. So whether that means you do exercise, which is a great way to ground yourself, whether it's going for walks in nature, barefoot on grass is a fantastic way to ground yourself and to be mindful. Mindful walking is fantastic. So when you're going for a walk, walking the dog, whatever you do, it's a great activity just to focus on what's going on around you. Try not to get too caught up in thinking and, you know, and absorbing everything you're doing. Just take the moment as you're walking around to just observe what's around you and to be aware of what's going on around you. Meditations. So, you know, a lot of people use mindfulness and meditation interchangeably. They are slightly different. So mindfulness I look at is more so the philosophy and the way of life, whereas meditation is more the practice that you do to achieve that. So lots of meditations that you can do that are available, YouTube, lots of apps, etc. So music is also another fantastic way to do meditation. And so just really kind of focusing on your breath, taking 5 to 10 minutes a day just to really focus on you and go inward rather than focusing on everything externally that is around you. So there's a few other pieces that I do want to cross off as well, especially around making sure you do have some type of mindful symbol or ritual that you do. So this can be really powerful. Something that symbolizes that you've finished work and that you're home, so you can switch that brain off. Some of those symbols are fantastic, and that can be something as easy as listening to music on the way home from work, doing a meditation on the way home from work. There's this great story I know about one of these guys that had a very high-powered job, and what he would do when he would come home in the evenings is would touch the tree in front of his front door, and that would almost close off that work day, and then it would symbolize that he's home. And it's a ritual that he did every day just to kind of be present and aware, and to be able to kind of move into that next space. So there's really simple things you can do like that. So start a meditation practice or a mindfulness practice for as little as kind of 5-10 minutes a day. Anyone can do this. We did the practice earlier. Anyone can do this. And if you really want to start to turn this into a habit and something that you want to do in your life, try like a 21-day challenge where you do 10 minutes a day and mindful activity every day for 21 days and see how you go and see how you feel at the end of it, and journal your progress. Journaling is another fantastic activity that anyone can do, something that I do a lot of and that I promote a lot of, and I find journaling is great for any anxiety as well, for getting things out of your head and onto paper. And then just getting it out of your body. So I think that's something that there's lots of activities that you can do to help with your mindfulness. So they're just some that I wanted to share with you today. So this video is a little bit longer than my other ones, but it's such an important topic. So I did want to share my kind of tips with you, as well as some of the benefits and a short practice with you. So hope you all start your own practice and look forward to speaking to you again shortly. All right, thanks everyone. I will chat to you soon. Bye.